they got to be worried about it on this map specifically is that it's very easy to get locked out on this choke specifically. So if you don't have the right specials or use your specials at the right time, you just can't really do much. And right now it's only at 25 seconds, 25 points remaining, 20 points remaining. Death Roll seems to be knocked out, and that's a wipeout. This could be it. If Semifinals scores doesn't get a special up in time, I think that's just game.
True. Nitro throws out the Booyah Bomb, but it's 3 down.
Oh, it is starting to get very dangerous territory for the Siberian Squids right now. As the heavy hit's down, they have 3 on tower. Death Roll seem to make this look like another knockout in their favor. As Siberian Squids, they need to get a special ready. They need to get their numbers in order. It's a jump for the tower. Can they stop it before it starts marching down? There's only 4 points remaining, and just like that, they knock it out. This is so chaotic right now. I'm having a hard time just keeping up with what's going on. They have to pop right now.
They got the pop. They got the pop, but here's the thing. They gotta keep the Rainmaker alive. They lose 2 right away. They have to retreat, but
work their way. They have one last chance at life right here. It's do or die with this push. As the splash is going to go down for Volatile Rays. Ostra's going to go 2 down here. And I think in this overtime, it's going to result in the Booyah Bomb. And now this is a bit of a lead, honestly. This is pretty big for the side of WPI here. And they're going to be able to keep the basket open still as well. Taking it to the 20. They're looking to take it maybe under the 20s as well. They still have some clams online. The Zap and the Roller are just still trying to find something up here. They're going to keep the basket open. They're going to look to try and end things here. I think they have...
It's been a grueling almost 2 months here, and it's being brought down to the semifinals with Death Roll versus the WPI Grizzco Industries. It is the final chance for each of these teams to try and make it to finals, and depending on the outcome will dictate who exactly they'll face. Winner will face off GMU Patriots in grand finals, while the loser of this match will be fighting Titans of Alterna in the bronze bracket. Ladies, gentlemen, they them. This is your semifinals match. This is the stage of history. Welcome back to everybody. We're coming at you live at the CCA. My name is SPF Dark, and I'm so excited to be bringing you this match tonight. But of course, I'm not alone here.
Welcome everybody to an amazing game we have for you all tonight. I am Momo. I am so happy to be here. We got Clan Blitz scores coming up. We got some amazing teams here today. I am so excited to see what this Div 3 playoffs match is going to bring to the table. Both of these teams have really shown their strength throughout this entire season, and just amazing gameplay overall from Div 3, which I would not expect to really just show off such amazing gameplay. And, you know, I'm just really excited to be here. I got Dark with me. Dark is really gonna, you know, make this go a lot smoother. And I'm just really excited going straight into the game. What do you think we're gonna see here, Dark?
Honestly, it's going to be a while back to ask what exactly these teams will be bringing. If I remember correctly, there's been a few balance changes since I've actually casted for Death Roll specifically, so it's going to be a bit different here. And so as we're heading into this game, like we said, a Clan Blitz, I'm just very excited to see exactly what each team will be bringing out as we head off to the first game of the night.
So we see a couple sloshers, we see some zaps, traditional comps I think from both sides of the team, going straight off into fighting for mid, a good starting clash. No major picks going down. We really got to see some good picks here, maybe some entries, maybe even an early knockout here. But I'm really excited. We see the slosher get down. Slosher 2 gets 2 down on the side of Grizzco Workers Union. Death Roll is able to get a good push here, 3 down from this slosher. What an amazing entry push with 15 clams already on the side of Death Roll. Maybe they can get this good first push here.
As their name dictates it, hailing from the home state, Death Roll are very good at playing very aggressively, and if they get too much space going in their favor, they will absolutely take this game and run away with it. But Grizzco Union, they managed to hold their ground, stop that push, and only allowing Death Roll to get 20 points in just 1 minute already into this game.
With such a successful push so early into the game, it really is crucial to see how Grizzco Workers Union was still able to shut down this push. I mean, 15 clams, that's nothing to really joke about, and the fact that they were able to just get rid of all those 7 excess clams is really, really big here, really early on. We can still see them even get 2 down. We have even 1 going down on the side of Grizzco Workers Union, but they can get a good push started here with the specials coming up, the Slosher being able to get more, 2 going down. They have the advantage. They have 2 down on the side of Death Roll. They can get a push here. They just need to get it started.
with a great opening push by Grizzco Union, they managed to not only stop Death Row, but also take 3 of their opponents already down as they take lead and keep pushing this momentum going in their favor, pushing forward, getting more clams in. They're really trying to make a statement this game already as it's breaking the basket all the way down to 59 points and maybe even counting.
With only 3 minutes left already in the game, the push is still going. Death Row really needs to be able to shut this down. They need to take these fights together. They managed to get 2 down on the side of Grizzco Workers Union. They gotta try and paint up mid, and they better have a plan ready, because Grizzco Workers Union is already 50 points down. With only 3 minutes left, we're approaching the halfway point here of the game, and each team, we can see them racking a ton of clams on the side of Death Row here, 15 to be in total, but the players are going down left, right, and center, and this is not a good start where you want to be in terms of Death Roll. You want to be able to push back mid, but we see Grizzco Workers Union right here with 16 clams. They're going to be able to get another strong push in here, maybe, possibly. Players going down left, right, and center. This is amazing. What do you think, Dark?
It is very aggressive. These players are each going, but just like that, even it looked like everything was looking all so great and happy for Grizzco Union, but Death Row managed to shut that down even faster than last time, and they're already attempting to reclaim mid. They're already attempting to regain their clam numbers. 2 minutes remaining. They have a little bit of a lead to sort of chew through, but it's definitely possible, and it's definitely more. They've definitely gone through bigger leads before.
You know, like I always say, it's never over till it's actually over. Seeing how these teams are just shutting down these insanely powerful pushes is really just amazing. And we can see even Death Roll getting ready for another push. Maybe if they're able to take this mid control and solidify a little bit more, but they're struggling as you see Grizzco Workers Union here pushing up as a unit, a single unit, being able to take down multiple, getting a power in, but will they be able to get the clams to follow up after it? With all of Death Roll alive and being able to defend right now, this looks like it's going to be a sort of dead push with just the ball going in, but I need to see Death Roll get some of this early aggression that they had going in the beginning of the game. They need to be able to regain their footing here if they want to try and get more claims in.
Death Roll, they definitely had that opening aggression to work in their favor, but they haven't even been able to get close to scoring another basket down. And as one goes down for Grizzco Unit, this might be their chance to actually try and score more points, but no, another one goes down for Death Roll. It is 1 for 1 for each team as they're just trying to fight over mid, trying to fight over claim over the territory and trying to see who can actually get this momentum going in their favor. With only 1 minute remaining, things are not looking good for Death Roll as they have a almost 55-point lead to chew through to actually try and take lead.
With only, as you said, 45 seconds remaining here, they don't even have the mid control. They don't have the clam economy here with Grizzco Workers Union holding 21 clams right now, 2 power clams on their side. The specials coming out from Grizzco Workers Union. Death Roll needs to have a plan to shut down this push. We see the Slosher going in for a flank, maybe going to be able to get 2, maybe get 1, but we see all of Grizzco Workers Union looking at the Slosher right now. The team needs to support the Slosher if they want them to be able to survive. With only 20 seconds left, I need to see some kills. I need to see some pushes. We saw one go down on the side of Grizzco Workers Union. Specials coming out left, right, and center. One going down. A trade happening on the side of mid right here. We need to see some sort of kills if Death Roll really needs to push in with only a minute left.
It's as their name tells, Grizzco Worker Unit are working as a unit, as an absolute unit, and synergy, but they're trying to make a breakthrough, and that wasn't enough time for Death Roll to make a power clam, giving the first game to Grizzco Union, and almost a just dominant lead, the most dominant lead I've ever seen so far.
Oh, it's just such a spectacular game. We see such a strong push coming from Death Roll at the start of the game, but without being able to follow up with it, Grizzco Workers Union just playing together here was really just able to shut down Death Roll. And I want to see Death Roll needs to have some sort of response to this if they want to be able to push him back. Like as we see here, you know, the Slosher really did try and take a lot of space, but they need the teammates to really play with them. They maybe need some chip to capitalize off of if they really want to try and regain this mid control here. And we just saw them struggling to really get their footing held down, as we just saw like 1 go down, 2 go down in their own 1v1s, while Grizzco Union was really playing as a team here. And you know, I know both of these teams are amazing, but Death Roll needs to have some plans for some sort of adaptation.
It's over kind of deal.
And with us going straight into the next game here, you know, I expect a lot from both of these teams, and I expect to see some great plays. Barnacle and Dime, it's a small map on zones here. You can get locked out really easily, and I hope Death Roll has a plan in mind to counter getting pushed back by Grizzco Workers Union. But one game does not define this whole set, and so we have many more games to go and many more opportunities for Death Roll to show us what they have. Let's see what weapons they pull up into this next game.
One thing to take into consideration by Grizzco Union is that cooler. Definitely, if Death Roll's going to play more aggressively, the Grizzco Union definitely want to keep that cooler on deck. But it seems that they keep it on deck in terms with the heavy edits, a newer weapon from this season. As we get ready into Splat Zones on game number 2, we're going to find out exactly how each of these teams are going to fight out for neutral.
We see the heavy edit come out. We see a diaper come out. Very aggressive comp from the side of Death Roll. And once again, this aggression, if it's paired together with these team play, they really will be able to do much. But we see instantly 2 going down, 3 going down on the side of Death Roll, and just this team play coming down, a wipeout on the side of Death Roll. This team play from Grizzco Workers Union is really just able to shut down Death Roll's full-on aggression, and this is what I was saying by they need a plan, and they look like they have a plan, being able to take down 2 from Grizzco Workers Union, but they need to really be able to push back in here and take the control. Frosty really maybe being able to get a couple down here, and this is an amazing re-entry by Death Roll.
A heroic attempt to try and stall out the point. Death Roll managed to put that push down to the end as they were already taking points away. 2 down already for Grizzco Union. They're starting to become a little bit staggered, but 3 are down for Death Roll. It could be anyone's game at this point. Each team are trying to reclaim territory, trying to reclaim turf to see exactly who they can pull out. And an unfortunate fall through by the carpet roller. That's not what you want to see right now.
That is going to be a very unfortunate death right there. That's going to be a sort of stagger for Grizzco Workers Union. This is what we see. This is what Dark was talking about earlier. When Death Roll gets on a roll, they do not stop. And there's only 30 ticks left. Grizzco Workers Union needs an answer, whether that's specials, whether that's kills. They need a plane and they need it fast. Only 20 ticks left. The specials are starting to come out. We see the Zuka 3 go down on the side of Death Roll, and these teams are just going head and head.
What an amazing play by Grizzco Union. They managed to pull that special out at the last possible moment. Kill all the way down to 13 points. Death Roll got their lead to. That Zuka definitely saved their play right there in order to keep them in this game just for a little bit longer. And now it's time for Death Roll to try and re-engage, trying to re-enter the mid zone, trying to reclaim that turf. And as we're going to see, we see that 2 down for Grizzco Union already.
You know, Grizzco Union as well, they also need to have some sort of plan for adaptation. If they're just going to try and run the same thing that they did last time, they're going to get shut down, just like again with Death Roll's plan. And this is really the game of adaptation here. It's cat and mouse. When one has a good plan, the other needs to come up with a different one to counter it. And we just see Death Roll really trying to solidify their advantage. You're trying to push up and take as much space as they can, and they're able to do that with such an aggressive comp that just plays together here. And Grizzco Workers Union, they need a plan to sort of come back in and re-enter. They have the cooler down with a little bit more penalty left. Grizzco Workers Union needs to try and fight together, take down these picks, and really push in as we saw the previous game.
2 down for Death Roll already. Grizzco Union managed to also take 1 down. It's 1 for 1 each team right now as they're trying to contest the point. It's an absolute just massive fight in mid as they're trying to get 1 foot over the other. 2 are down. Once again, it's even, but now another one goes down for Death Roll. It's just blow for blow at this point. And even though this is blow for blow, it's fairly even with these fights. Grizzco Union is taking away the points. Their penalty points is slowly chipping away as we head into 1 minute 45 seconds remaining. This could be a dangerous hold for Grizzco Union.
If Death Roll does not have a good plan here, they are really going to get crunched by the numbers here. 2 going down on the side of Death Roll with the penalty already gone. Ticking through the Grizzco Workers Union, taking the lead here with only 7 ticks left and 3 players alive. They need to paint the zone and they need to paint it fast, and they're going to try, but they're not going to be able to. Grizzco Workers Union with another amazing display of just team play and just coordination, whether that's special, whether that's taking aggression together. And while I saw Death Roll really bring the aggression here and have a good plan, they need to have the plan be executed flawlessly if they want to take down a team like Grizzco Workers Union.
it's gonna just be the question of what's gonna work better. You know, do you need to actually, can you get away with being hyper aggressive, pushing in constantly, and not fearing just being dying, not fearing the death timers that you guys have with via cooler, or is that gonna be enough to beat out just the absolute unison that the Grizzco unit has been pulling off so far? Because a lot already have we seen in these 2 games already that Grizzco unit, they get a special and they manage to just snuff out any potential push Death Roll has, and it's been working very well for them so far. Managed to get just that almost 50-point lead knockout down to just 0 for them to take the game. And Death Roll, they had that hyper aggressive just to hold on to that lead and keep it locked down. But Grizzco Union, they pulled out just in the nick of time and they managed to turn this game completely around.
And we have some stats coming up here on the stream. We see, both of these teams, they are not teams to be messed with. Both of these teams having a lot of victories that were mostly landslides. Death Roll having a couple close games here, especially with Cream Cord and Golden Barracudas. But both of them, we can see that if Death Roll really wants to succeed, they need to be able to adapt to these errors and they need to work as a team. And this is the one thing that really comes up here in these games that we can see. Grizzco Workers Union really does play as a singular unit, and this singular unit is able to tackle down so much counter aggression coming from the side of Death Roll, because if one player gets too aggressive, 3 players on the side of Grizzco Workers Union takes that player down, and now you have a 4v3 situation. And if the continuation of this just continues to happen, then most likely Grizzco Workers Union is going to continue to take this lead. And I want to see Death Roll here really pull out some more team play with this aggression, because if they keep up this aggression countered with team play as well, then I think Grizzco Workers Union will be in a tight spot here to try and take a couple more games.
Death Roll, they definitely need to be looking at exactly what Grizzco Union is doing. You know, 2 games already, they've seen that once they get that special going and they get that counter push, it's gonna be very hard to try and take back. So they need to actually be more mindful as to exactly what's going on in the battlefield. You know, what area is turfed, what area is not, and just sort of be more mindful exactly for positioning. Because once already the Grizzco Union just managed to get like a very nice Trizuka here and there to just shut down any sort of momentum that Death Roll has managed to build up over the past few minute or 2 of the game. And so right now, as we head into game number 3 on Tower Control Museum D'Alfonsino, it could be anyone's game right now. It could be anyone's game right now.
Yeah, these games, especially that last one, have been so close. It does not have a clear decided winner. And especially if Death Roll decides to bring out that sometimes it also doesn't, and we can see here, both teams are trying to push up, trying to take this advantage. The this way call is really good here, because now we can see Death Roll actually is playing sort of as a team and are able to capitalize off of this team play, and this is really good because this is what we wanted to see on the side of Death Roll.
Already, Death Roll are trying to at least get a few more points on their name as they're pushing ahead on that tower path right now. Already at first checkpoint, 2 down already for Grizzco Union. Is looking like at least they could get first checkpoint here, maybe even the second, depending on what specials they can use, how they stagger them, and how they stagger the other team. As another one goes down and they're pushing forward, they're keeping up the aggression, they're living up to the name, just keeping them in a constant death roll.
And this is exactly what we wanted to see from Death Roll, this early aggression, being able to set up in the good positions that allow this team to really hold their aggression here. And with only 27 already left on, 2 going down on the side of Grizzco Workers Union, there's not much time left. They need to be able to shut down the tower here with only 1 alive now, contesting the tower against this Nautilus and a couple other individuals. This is such a good push coming from the side of Death Roll, and it doesn't look like Grizzco Workers Union has the manpower to be able to fight back against it with only 3 points left.
They're just living up to their name, that being an actual Death Roll, taking down all the way down to 3 points. Grizzco Union, they need to just pretty much make an absolute knockout in order to actually try and take this win here. And 1 goes down, 2 goes down for Grizzco Union. Death Roll, they're keeping up the momentum. They're doing exactly what they need to be doing in order to cycling the specialists, keeping Grizzco Union out of the area and just keeping them pushed back. You know, what can they do if they have nowhere to go?
This is exactly what we wanted to see from Death Roll. And you know, even though a couple of them go down on this push, and this push might be over, the Nautilus is still getting a couple of exit picks here, trying to trade them out. This is still a very comfortable spot for Death Roll to really be in, being able to have most of this mid control. But the thing that I want to see now is, are they able to apply the same pressure on defense as they were on offense? Because now they don't need to be worried about pushing the tower, they need to be worried about maintaining their lead, and it looks like they're able to do that with the picks that they're being able to get here on Grizzco Workers Union.
A very good mid control Death Roll has right now, as they're just keeping Grizzco Union pushed back and out of there, and just keeping the tower onto their side of the map. As one goes down for each team, it's still a 3v3 at this moment right now, as they're slowly inching back towards the plat into Spinner. As Grizzco Union, they take another pick, and they're already trying to 2 down already, as they're starting to swing back and heavy into their favor.
And this is like just an amazing display of what a team can do with pure adaptation to the other enemy team. We see Grizzco Workers Unit they're really struggling to get their footing down here. They have barely pushed the tower more than 7 points, and of course the curse of commentators is about to come in right here as they managed to get a little bit more on that tower there. But being able to control plat here with 2 down on the side of Death Roll, again, Death Roll needs to have a plan for defense here. Grizzco Workers Unit is again very good at taking these team fights, very good at being able to use their specials effectively. Death Roll needs to have a plan here, but I just see players going down left, right, and center. They need to pay for specials. They need to have an idea of how they're going to shut this down.
One thing that's actually Death Roll's bane right now is the fact that with the Grizzco Union, once they can actually get set up to start working as a team, they're becoming pretty hard to stop, as in just one single push, they took it all the way down to 23 points. The massive lead Death Roll had is suddenly to seem not so massive right now, as 45 seconds remaining, and they managed to potentially flesh out just enough players to take this tower back into mid. But no, there's still one sharking left in the Spinner, and they're trying to get them out of there, but no, they can't!
Seeing Death Roll really be able to take this fight from 2 positions really was the thing that let them sort of take the advantage over Grizzco Workers Union here, because they were able to get such a successful pincer alongside their specials, and that's what pushed back Grizzco Workers Union. And now Grizzco Workers Union is struggling to get their footing down, and we see Death Roll once again playing as a unit, just as Grizzco Workers Union was, and they were able to get such value out of this. With only 10 seconds left, Grizzco Workers Union needs a plan, and they need it fast. They don't have many players up, they don't have specials up. With only the Sot being alive, they can't get on tower, and that's gonna be game 3 going to Death Roll.
What a dominant just push Death Roll had there at the beginning, taking it all the way down to 3 points. Like Momo said earlier, Death Roll just now at that point, they didn't even worry about pushing tower again. They didn't even worry about pushing it all the way down to first checkpoint, or whatever. They got their massive lead. All they had to do was just stall up Grizzco Union, and that they did, making Grizzco Union only get down to just 23 points remaining, 20 points off from trying to take lead.
And we see this instant replay here. It really just goes to show how strong team play and how important it is, especially in some of these competitive matches, being able to know when to take an aggressive solo fight and when that you need to actually play together as a team and just try and push the enemies back as a wall rather than as a sort of individual pushing against them. It really just goes to show how important it is, especially against teams that show a lot of prowess and a lot of power. And again, these teams show just that. I am so impressed with how Death Roll played that game, and I am so excited to see how they play the next one.
And now here's the trick right now, is if they can just keep this momentum going in their favor. Taking one game on the board, that's good, alright, it wasn't a clean 5-0 sweep, you still have a fighting chance at this. It makes the points just a little bit more even, it makes the playing ground a little bit more even, but we're in a best of 9. They still have to win at least 4 more games for Death Roll, while Grizzco Union Stun has at least 3, so it's still a little bit of uphill battle right now. But as we're heading into game number 4, we're going to be heading to Rainmaker on Crablet Capital.
Rainmaker on Crablet Capital, such a map mode that I dislike, to be honest. I feel like this map is too small for Rainmaker. I can't play this map, I don't like it. I don't know. But something to keep in mind is Death Roll was really able to get that initial push off. Are they going to be able to still keep up the aggression if they don't have that initial push? And this is going to be something to see on this map. Seeing on this map, it's not easy to get the very quick checkpoint up onto plat push. And if Death Roll is not able to do that, are they still going to be able to keep the control that they need to succeed against Grizzco Workers Union? We see a couple of competitive weapon changes here. Still, both sides running a cooler. It's going to be an interesting game.
Oof, first pick already going to death row as Grizzco Union down one member. They're already just inching just slowly forward and forward, taking more space, keep pushing Grizzco Union out. You know, some people might grab the Rainmaker at this point, but no, you need to make sure you have this at least first neutral area cleared out, relatively cleared out before you actually think about taking the Rainmaker, because once you grab that Rainmaker, you're just a sitting target right now, as each team has just been 1 for 1 and they grab the Rainmaker. Maybe a mistake as they're backing up a bit as those tri-strikes come out and keeping them flushed out.
This is where we can see full-on aggression coupled against team play here, really see what comes out here, and the being able to get this once again, pincer aggression from the one player on right was able to get Death Roll that first initial push, and we know what they can do when they have that first initial push. Even though they are all going down, they still banked that check, and now it's up to Grizzco Workers Union to bank their own checkpoint and really try and take this advantage. As we see them trying to take this right, they're able to get that checkpoint. Death Roll needs a plan, because if Grizzco Workers Union just walks this up the grate, they lose the lead.
Ooh, and just like that, not even just barely an inch forward, and they already took lead. And now Grizzco Union sitting with just a 10-point lead. It's not a lot, but Death Roll needs to take that Rainmaker all the way back through mid and back that past the first checkpoint to even think about taking lead at this point. As each team fight for mid once again, it's just gonna be a control to see who can start up mid the longest. That would dictate whether or not which way this game's gonna go.
You know, seeing Nitro really try and control this right side here, it is so important to be able to fight. And as we can see, Grizzco Workers Union is having multiple players go down. They're able to shut down the Rainmaker, but seeing able to take this map and play it in multiple parts, play it by taking control of multiple areas, really shuts down the other team's ability to fight back. And despite being able to do that on the side of Death Row, they're going to get wiped out here by Grizzco Workers Union. They need a plan. They need a fast one that's going to be specials, because if they do not have one, they are going to get pushed back even more.
A very dangerous situation Death Row is in right now, as Grizzco Union are just slowly pushing them forward past those grades. If they don't have this proper specials to try and stop this, that could be the end of it. But no, they managed to stop it with their main weapons, as two also go down with Grizzco Union. Another one goes down for the Grizzco Union. Death Row is on a roll right now, but there's someone still behind. They gotta keep track of other players, or else that could just be a breakaway and sneaking past to just straight up end the game. But no, they managed to flush them out before any damage could be done.
With us already being less than half of the, or more than half of the game way through, Death Roll needs to be able to take this advantage back. We see one on Grizzco Workers Union still up their plat, having this sort of advantage place, and Death Roll needs to turn around and shut this down, because as we were talking about earlier, being able to fight from multiple angles is strong, but if you win, the fight is strong, but if you lose, it's clearly not. And seeing Death Roll being able to take these fights here, we need to see them take some more team fights. We need to see them use some more special coordination, because they need to be able to push up here and push up as a unit, but they're just getting shut down left, right, and center, and they're not going to be able to push this Rainmaker through if this is how they're going to continue to play. They need to adapt.
1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. Death Row's got to start really thinking about exactly how they want to try and finish this game off right now. As two are once again go down for Death Row. Grizzco Unit is holding just a dominant lead right now, not letting Death Row any just sort of leeway to do anything whatsoever. They're just keeping the momentum going in their favor right now with only with just about a minute remaining. They can just practically stall the Rainmaker right now. They don't need to push up. They have the lead. They can just kind of wait it out and just let Death Row come to them, you know, as they're just slowly one by one trickling in.
This Rainmaker movement is insane. I just had to point that out right there. I just saw that Rainmaker walk in front of two players with death facing them in front of the eye, and the Rainmaker just not a care in the world. That was insane. But again, 45 seconds left in the game. Death Roll has the Rainmaker. This might be one of the final pushes that they are having, but they still need to be able to shut down the players. We need to see them protect this Rainmaker. They gotta keep Special up here, and we just see Krona knocking down the entire team of Death Roll, being able to just get this 4-player kill right here. This is gonna be a rough place if I'm Death Roll. With only 20 seconds left in this game, we need some kills, and they are getting those kills.
This is very dangerous for Grizzco Union right now. There are 2 players down right now, and not a giant lead right now to their name. But no, there's still one behind. Managed to stop that lead right before the game ends. And that's a wipe out for Death Roll. Grizzco Union just might have just saved this game at the last possible moment from a flank from behind.
Krona really being the MVP of this game, not only shutting down all players on Death Roll, but also shutting down that final push with the Rainmaker kill. Such an insane and well-timed flank. Well played to Grizzco Workers Union, and I just have to say, it was amazing to see this level of coordination on a map like this, a map so small, where it's just so... It's just fighting. It's really just fighting. That's the only thing that happens on this map. And in theory, that sounds like it would be something good for Death Roll, as their team is, again, very aggressive. They like to take these fights. They like to try and win these fights. But still being able to see Grizzco Workers Union be a little bit slippery, take these flanks, take these kills, and knock them out when Death Roll wasn't really paying attention, it is going to be the real decider of this game here. And we can see that with how Krona not only got those 4 kills, but also the flank.
It was a very impressive play by Grizzco Union. Just not only just one player just completely wipe out their team, but just also just stop that push right there. I'm gonna be honest, that would happen to me as well. I would have been just trying to make sure I can just focus right in front of me, focus right ahead of me, because I know where most of the players are. And but just it's just that key, that minute slip of the mind. You know, you see most of your players, you should be fine. No, they're right behind you, and that's it. That's your push. It's game. You lost the game. You gotta be aware. You got to keep in mind of how many players you have in vision and know exactly who's where, because it's situations like that that's really going to make or break some of these games.
And I can literally not agree with you more. One of the things I'm trying to work on as a Splatoon player as well is my awareness. And if you know me personally, I am not aware. I kind of see an enemy and I just ignore the enemy. And I'm just like, object permanence does not exist. And that is not something that you can do, especially if you want to be able to shut down and really have some of these aggressive kills at the end that we saw there. But going into this next map, Clan Blitz Eeltail, Death Roll had stopped Grizzco Workers Union's early sort of advantage in terms of how the set was going, but with them winning another game, I hope Death Roll is really not feeling like that they are in a bad spot, because again, it's anyone's game. The set, they still have 2 more games that they can play against Grizzco Workers Union, and if they take them, then they still have more games on their belt.
Yes, most definitely. They have at least 2 more chances to try and take games back into their name. You know, they're being down 3-1. Most teams that puts a lot of pressure on most teams. That puts a lot of just like mental that you gotta just try to push past and not affect your gameplay. It's situations like these that you really gotta be mindful of as a player, for not just Splatoon but most games in general. You know how far down behind you guys you are as a player. You gotta be aware of just like not let that get to you and just focus on the game right now. And that game right now is Clam Bets on Eeltail Alley. You gotta be mindful, like, okay, who's collecting clams? Where's people positioning? That bridge is gonna be very important to try and take control. And as we head to game number 3, we're gonna see exactly how Death was gonna try and adapt to this game.
The adaptation factor is really important here. I think we saw a substitution on their side. I'm not actually fully sure, but going into a map that's, again, a little less full aggressive fights and more sort of control based, because you can really take control of that mid before being able to push up and making it harder for your enemy team to really push up. I'm curious if this is going to be a map that sort of Death Roll feels a little bit more comfortable on, but they also need to be sure that they don't fall to many of these team fights that Grizzco Workers Union has clearly shown they are able to do very well in.
And as it's a fight for mid, each team are trying to fight control over mid, trying to fight over the clan economy, just to try and get any sort of advantage over one or the other. It seems like Grizzco units just managed to at least get a little bit of advantage right now as they're pushing their throw back and collecting clams already at 13 and a power clam. But one goes down to Trizuka, and it's a trade for 2 for 2. Each team's 2 for 2 right now, but you gotta keep in mind of that bridge as Grizzco Union managed to get that push stopped right in their tracks.
Players going down left, right, and center. This is what we like to see from a spectator's perspective, because you can just see how the fights are so important and how the deaths are so crucial, because this is what allows the teams to really push up. And despite not either team really having control of this mid, we still see Death Roll, really trying to solidify their own control, and Grizzco Workers Union trying to solidify their own control. And even though, again, players are going down left, right, and center on both sides of these teams, no team really has been able to push up this mid, which is what I was talking about earlier when I mean this is a more control-based map and not just a fighting one.
And a control-based map, you need to be very much mindful of as your specials then when you're using that. Zuka to the face might be a good idea, but might not turn out exactly what you need in the long run as 3 go down, almost potentially 3. Yes, the 3 go down for Death Roll. Grizzco Union, a delayed wipe actually going in Grizzco Union's favor as they just run up and they miss the power clam!
The miss of the power clam is going to be crucial, but they're able to get it back with the safety of that big bubbler there. If I am Death Roll, I need a plan and I need it fast. We can't let Grizzco Workers Union take this heavy advantage, and we just see them knocking multiple players out back and forth, and Mizuka coming in and being able to knock them out. That's a delayed wipe on the side of Grizzco Workers Union. This is a perfect spot that I need to be in with only half of the game left to go. Death Roll needs a good push, and I think they're building up to it.
Right now, both teams are pretty much almost equally matched, not Death Roll. Grizzco Union managed to take at least 50 points. They're having a 25-point penalty right now. For Death Roll, they're playing very aggressive right now, pushing far up ahead, keeping Grizzco Union out of their area, out of their side of the map, and they just managed to get an opening pushes. Let's see exactly what they can do off of that opening push.
They're able to get the second pity claim in there, and that's going to be really important if they want to take this advantage. They are able to take the lead off of this, and we just see Nitro being able to knock down so many players from Grizzco Workers Union, but it looks like this might be the end of the push if he doesn't be able to get another claim in there, and they are able to get another claim in there, and this is going to be such a good spot for Death Roll here, being able to not only control all of mid, but they managed to get such a good push against Grizzco Workers Union.
A very good push by Death Roll, managing to take it all the way down to 36 points remaining. Right now they're sitting at a relative 68 points to actually sit there to try and knock out. But Grizzco Union, they're punching back, and they're punching back hard, taking a wipeout almost immediately with power clams in their favor. It could be a potential that they can manage to be able to just take the lead at this point right now.
And this is such a good spot for Grizzco Workers Union as well. They're able to get that pity claim in there with only 26 points left, and the wipeout on the side of Death Roll. Death Roll needs to be up, and they need to be up fast. They need to be able to get these kills because they're not going to have the time to defend as Grizzco Workers Union just continues to throw clams in one after another. With only a minute left, they only need one more clam, and they're able to get it, and that's a knockout for Grizzco Workers Union.
What a set. Death Roll, they managed to do a very monumental push to take it all the way down to 36 points remaining. But Grizzco Union, they fought back, they punched back, and not only did they punch back hard, they took the game. They said no, they want to take this game and they want to end it fast, taking their score to 4-1. Next point, it's match point for them. If they win it, they move on to winners finals.
The game again is still not over until it's over, and we can really see, Grizzco Workers Union, they don't get affected by the mid-game pressure. Like, they lost their initial advantage push, they managed to lose that lead, but that does not stop them from still getting such another strong counter push with the wipeout as well, really just solidifying their ability to just not only control all of mid, but be able to go back, pick up all those clams, and just throw in as many as they need in order to win. And this is such an amazing thing to be able to do, because again, the game does not get defined by the first minute, it doesn't get defined by the first 2 minutes, but it gets only defined by either whoever lasts the longest or whoever knocks out first.
And it's just definitely gonna be a stamina test at this point, because for Death Row to win, they need to win every single remaining match on this set, or else that is it for them. They get sent to to losers bracket, not losers bracket, but to the third place bracket, where they fight it out against the another one of our teams right now, Titans of Alterna, if that's the name, if I'm correct about that. But yes, Titans Alterna. Good to know. Voices in my head. So yes, if Death Row loses here, they goes to the third place match, Titans of Alterna, meaning Grizzco gets to go against the GMU Patriots, which is it's a big mountain they gotta climb in order to not for that route to happen.
But you know, Grizzco Workers Union, they have the climbing gear on, they have the chalk, they have the rope, and we can just sort of see like they've been on a really good steamroll here this season, and it's just been an amazing sort of season for them. And with such a strong game, you know, I cannot wait for this finals game to see how they're going to be able to maybe deal with this matchup. But again, Death Roll is not out of it yet. You know, there is still this last game to go. I think it was Zone's Flounder. And Zone's Flounder is a map where, again, the early lockout can be very important. And as we saw with a couple of these maps earlier, for example, Museum here, if Death Roll gets this early push and they get it well and they set up well, they might be in a state to take this further and not just let the game end here.
It's definitely going to be up to how Death Row plays this. Like Momo said, if Death Row managed to get a very dominant early first lead, that would pretty much set them up for almost a guaranteed victory against Grizzco Union, and keeping them in there for at least one more game where they can take a chance to do it again and again and again until they potentially take it home at a 4-5 score. But that's the future. We're here at the present on Smash Zones on Flounder Heights, trying to see exactly what these teams were going to bring to their potentially last match of the night.
We see that Diaper come out. We see some Tri-Sloshers. As a retired Tri-Slosher enthusiast, I love to see some Tri-Sloshers, and this is the map where Tri-Slosher does its best, arguably. And again, with these beacons that we were talking about earlier in today's set, if they're able to get these set up and they're able to get the early advantage, that might be the thing that they need to really take this lead. And we see already one going down on the side of Grizzco Workers Union, multiple sort of positions here trying to be taken by Death Roll, and I think they're going to be able to start off this zone ticking.
It's going to be a play on angles and see exactly where your positioning is, because one special could utterly destroy your team's positioning. As you can see right now, 2 go down to 1 Zuka. Death Roll, saying to their name, trying to get this lockout via a Death Roll, as their points already taken down to almost already 65 points remaining, as they keep the ball rolling in their favor. But 1 goes down, but it's not enough, as the zone is still ticking into their favor.
Again, one of the maps where you can get locked out so easily if you aren't careful, but it looks like Grizzco Workers Union has a plan, and they're being able to execute it well as they get 2 down on the side of Death Roll, really being able to retake this mid and take it well, as we see them spread out here a little more fanned out, but they're still trying to play as a unit. We see Frosty going around for the couple kills on the Nautilus, some specials coming out on the side of Death Roll, and the zone right now is not ticking in anyone's favor, and of course it's going to change maybe to Grizzco Workers Union is going to take that zone, but we see sort of this game of mouse and cat here, just going back and forth with each team painting their zone. This is a very tense game we have.
With this map in particular, the teams are going to be just kind of eyeing about where everyone is, because even more so, there's so many different angles that each team can approach from that you have to be aware as to where is your territory, where is their territory, where the ink is currently at, looking at. And right now, Grizzco Union, they know exactly where they have control on, and they're taking it home right now, already taking it down to 70 points, and maybe even taking lead, as the Death Roll are trying to make it back and trying to contest the point right now.
Again, it's the issue that Death Roll will have. He's sort of going into a couple of these beginning games. They need to be able to really have a plan, and it looks like they did have a plan. Nitro being able to get 2 here, but is it going to be enough for Death Roll to really capitalize and be able to cap the zone? They are able to cap the zone for a second, getting that penalty started on the side of Grizzco Workers Union, and now they are taking their own penalty down. They have the mid control. They need to push up. They need to be able to set up here. The specials coming out on the side. They have some good special coordination, being able to get the Tri-Slusher down back there, being able to control this bridge area. This is going to be so strong, but they need to have a plan against Grizzco Workers Union specials and against their team play.
This is a match of either coordination versus aggression. You know, which one's gonna prevail in this specific map mode right here? As right there, the Grizzco units are all stacked up on their side of the court, on their side of the map. So one very well placed a special or flank can utterly destroy them. As two go down already by Grizzco Union, but a crab take comes out. But is it gonna? It doesn't look like it's gonna be enough. As Zestro, they managed to get it, and they're going in, and they're going in. They're potentially trying to go in for the knockout. As the 30 points remaining, this could be it for them.
The Tri-Slasher getting that kill is going to be so important to Death Roll, who with only 20 ticks left. Grizzco Workers Union needs to be able to get some of these kills down. Krona really trying to desperately get that Zuka kill, popping their own Zuka, trying to get a couple picks down. They're not able to with only 7 ticks left. They need to be able to paint the zone with the crap coming out, but they're not going to be able to paint fast enough, and that is a knockout to Death Roll. This set is not over, folks.
They still have yet another chance to try and take this home. Take the score to 4-2. 3 more games they have to win in order to try and take the set away from Grizzco Union, making it probably just a true upset for tonight if they actually do win this out. Death Roll, their backs against the wall, but they are not done it yet. They're not out of it yet. They're going to keep going forward. They're going to keep playing forward. Keep taking these chances in order to try and squeeze out another victory until they have this set claimed in their hands.
Again, one of the maps where if you get that early aggression, it might be just enough to really get you to win. And it's not even just early aggression. In this case, it's pretty much any aggression. If you're able to push past the zone and get onto the bridge side, it is very hard to push a team out from that bridge side. And we can see Death Roll got very nice and comfortable after they pushed that zone for a second time. Not even the specials being able to bother them. We saw a Trizuka come out. We saw a Crab come out. But still not enough to really bother Death Roll enough. And this is maybe what Death Roll needs to look at, how they can apply this exact sort of strategy onto other maps. Because going on to a map like Hagglefish TC, again, where a early push might be the winner break defeat here, the winner sort of decider on a map like this. If they are able to succeed that, they might be able to even keep this set up even longer than we had originally thought.
And for this map specifically too, another what I'd like to say anyways is just another map that you kind of have to watch out for flanks and angles. Maybe not so much as compared to Flounder Heights, you know, with almost every angle being a potential flank. You know, here on Hagglefish Market, you still have to pay attention to either the left side or right side. But if you're paying attention to the left, you're not paying attention to the right. And so you got with Grizzco Union, I believe at least for this map specifically, this could be in their favor with how well coordinated they've been dealing. They've been so far, but Death Roll, this can also be the map for them to take with, like Momo said, once you have that opening, a very strong opening push, that could just pretty much be the deciding factor of this game to see, depending on who gets that opening push first and how far it is, will pretty much maybe dictate who's just going to outright win this game.
And again, you know, as you earlier said, you have to keep a close eye onto these flanks here, and knowing how Grizzco Workers Union really plays with their sort of team and union sort of idea and mentality, being able to shut down. I really need to see maybe Death Roll is going to be able to get a couple of these pushes and really try and pincer Grizzco Workers Union. It looks like we have a DC, unfortunately. So back to the lobby it is for these teams.
One thing I want to point out is that stringer I saw there. I don't know if that stringer was actually what they're planning to run or not, but if there was, I'm very intrigued. You don't see a lot of stringers around on this level of gameplay.
And, you know, back to looking at some of our matchups here. Looking at sort of some of the things that we have noted for Grizzco Workers Union, one of the things that really stands out to me here is cutting off their cooler. Really, you know, and we had a Tri Nouveau on the side of Death Roll here for Flounder Zones, and maybe that is one of the things that was really able to help Death Roll in keeping their constant aggression up, and it's because they had that cooler. And so maybe Grizzco Workers Union needs to have a plan ready for how they're going to counter this cooler, because even on a map where they're able to get the full wipeout, if the team is able to spawn really quickly and come back in and take another fight, then it's not going to be as effective when you get that full team wipeout.
Tactical cooler is definitely going to be Death Roll's just key to victory for the remaining of these games. You know, like you said, as long as they have that cooler on, even if it is a team wipe, if they have the core up, they can just come back in and it's like they haven't lost anything. And while Grizzco Union having to take 2 fights back to back is definitely going to be putting a pressure on exactly how they're going to be maintaining their area as well as how they're going to be specialized. So that core is just going to be the key to victory for Deathloop, and they got to keep that in mind. And I really hope they try and take the cooler to their full potential here on this next game M mode.
And I am just really curious to see, again, this is a map where both of these teams have, play styles that can fit this map mode really well, and it really just is going to be up to them to show who takes it to the next level and who knocks out the other team with their ability to counter. It looks like the stringer was intentional here, and that stringer might be something detrimental as it might be able to shut down a couple of these aggressive plays from a very safe location.
Not only do I see the string, but I see that sloshing machine as well, more mid-range to maybe even poke a playstyle that Grizzco Union is probably going to try for here, which I don't actually know how it's going to interact with how Death Roll is really going to be playing right now, as both teams fight out from mid. One goes down already for Death Roll. Grizzco Worker Union, they're already trying to push this into their favor and pushing fast.
We see this really quick aggression, and again, this is what we were talking about. This starting aggression might be the really big decider on a map like this. They're not able to push that tower so far up, which still gives Death Roll this opportunity if they're able to get these picks, if they're able to get these kills. And we see a couple flanks going right here and not being able to really succeed and get much. Aggression in this case, and it really just goes to show, because after you be able to push mid and really sort of get it past some of those first couple of checkpoints, being able to shut down the enemy by playing together, pushing up onto their plat, knocking down the players on snipe is really just going to solidify your ability to just push through and really just continue to push through. And this is what we see Grizzco Workers Union really doing. You see 3 of them already set up on here, being able to just get this good team play and just knock out any player that comes against them. The special coordination also coming out here with the whale, the crab, all this displacement, and this is just enough really combined together to be able to get such a strong knockout.
What Death Roll as a team are really good at is just the fact that once they get going and get that big lead, they're set for the rest of the game. But if you deny them from that initial setup, you deny them from that initial push, what can they do? And as you see right now, Grizzco Union, they managed to take advantage of that and just take that straight to a knockout, not even letting Death Roll get any points on the board as they take this game to 5-2, earning Grizzco Worker Union to taking them to the grand finals, going up against the team I forgot the name at the moment.
And as you just said, it looks like that Grizzco Workers Union will be the winner of this set, but it is not over yet, folks. Looks like I think we have a PA9 actually. I am mistaken. A PA9 on our hands, which means we get to see a little bit more Splatoon. We get to possibly see a little bit more goofy Splatoon, and we get to see some of these teams laid back a little bit. But again, these teams, one of them can still take 3rd place, and one of them can take either 1st or 2nd place. So these teams still have this seriousness associated with both of them. They might be out of this set, but they're not out of the league yet.
Most definitely, Grizzco Union. Even though they're in contention for maybe even taking first place all the way for our Div 3 bracket right here, Death Row, they still have a chance to at least make it to the podium for depending on the outcome of their third place match. So it's still not out of the park, out of the waters for either team right now. They still have another week, or they still have their next game to really dictate where the final standings are. And depending on how you see it, that could just, depending on where you place, it could just be all that matters that whether this season was make or break for you. You know, making at least the podium is a very big deal.
And as we're going into this game, let me do the math here. Game 7. No, game 8? I think
Game
my
8.
math is wrong. I think it is game 8. Yeah, my math is wrong. I am tired, folks. But as we go into this game 8, Rainmaker Manta here. Again, a map where being able to get this initial aggression is so important. And I swear it feels like I've said this multiple times in the past set that this has gone over. But, you know, it's the case on a lot of these maps. Getting these aggression, controlling the map is just so important on so many of these maps. And this is, again, one of the maps where we see that. If you're able to push past Bunker into an enemy street and maintain that control, you are almost set to be able to just take this lead. And I'm curious to see, you know, both of these teams have shown strong abilities to play together and strong abilities to take control and take it fast. I'm curious to see which team is going to be able to win it for this map.
And most definitely, as both teams make a breakaway for the pop already instantly, Grizzco Worker Unit just managed to get that pop instantly and already trying to reclaim space, but no, one goes down for Grizzco as Death Row already pushing up, trying to fish for that next pick.